lot of things that as you get some time between you and the event, you can really have some fun with them. And so, for example, in my case, I'm currently battling cancer, and one of the things that this particular cancer, when you're going in for your radiation, you have to have a drug called thyrogen. And I'm geeking out after the first shot of thyrogen, and I'm just sitting there waiting for the doctors to let me know that I'm not having any kind of anaphylactic type reaction. And so I get out my phone and I look up what thyrogen is, and I'm taking this medication the day before I'm supposed to have radiation. And the key ingredient is, and this is what I love, you can't make this stuff up. It's genetically modified Chinese hamster ovary cells. So you look at that and you say, okay, that's funny all on its own. And I'm laughing, and they're wondering if I'm having a reaction because I'm just laughing. I said, no. And I told her the ingredient. She looks at me as if that's not really funny. And I said, you don't get it. I'm getting radiation tomorrow. Chinese hamster cells plus radiation does not equal Spider-Man. and she's still looking at me. I go, no, look, think about it. What kind of a superhero are you going to get out of an irradiated hamster boy? Do you knock over the criminals with extreme cuteness, or can you shell them, or are you restricted to fighting only in newspaper or sawdust? And it was a person who had absolutely no sense of humor and was wondering how you can go through, for some people, a pretty traumatic experience and be doing this kind of stuff. And I think over time, if you are a storyteller who is passionate about it, whether professional or hobbyist, you start doing that with life just out of habit.
Absolutely. I was listening to a radio show recently where they were talking about the importance of narrative in our lives and how it's often overlooked. For example, there was a doctor who would treat patients in the World War II era, and he worked with a lot of inner city patients where shootings was a regular thing. And when people would come in who had been shot, civilians, it was very, very traumatizing, and it was very gloomy. It was a very sad situation. And then when D-Day came around in World War II, he would work on the patients who had been right there on the shores of Normandy, who had been pulled back, who had been wounded. And he talked about how he would go from sick prisoner to sick prisoner, and they had to ration the medicine that they had. And he would say, do you need this medicine? Because we don't have that much. How are you feeling? And the soldier would often say, I don't need it. I'm feeling okay. He'd go to the next soldier. We have some medicine if you need it. How are you feeling? Give it to the next guy. I'm feeling okay. And this doctor was just nonplussed as soldier after soldier would turn down, I think it was morphine or some sort of painkiller, when all of these guys had been shot, some of them mortally wounded, but they were all just feeling great. The conclusion was it was the narrative. If you are just in an inner city area, you get shot, you're going to think, oh man, this is just ruining my life. This is terrible. But if you are fighting as a soldier on the front lines of World War II and you get shot, you're going to think, I just got shot. I'm going to win a medal. I'm going to be a hero. I'm going to come back. I'm serving my country. And just the way you look at your life, whether as a story or whether as just a random string of events, can make all the difference.
I totally agree. And one of my favorite storytellers who fits into that trauma category is Kevin Kling, with his motorcycle accident rendering him paralyzed in his good arm, and only his arm that's malformed as a birth defect is all he can use. He is an individual who, frankly, depending on how he wanted to deal with it, could be the most depressing person in the world. But he's chosen to see what are the good things and the upsides to who he is, and he looks for the good in that narrative. And when you talk to him, he leaves you as an individual who's had their day brightened.
Yeah, it's hard not to smile when Kevin Kling tells a story. He's fantastic.
Absolutely. And the one thing that I learned from him, I took a course from him, everybody has some sort of tragedy that happens in their life. Some of them are definitely more severe than others on whatever scale society rates. But Kevin said, you have to be true to your story and don't change the narrative. If the story is not great, it's got a narrative that goes with it. But if you're looking towards taking your life and rewriting it so that you're always the hero and you always come out on top, his contention is that you would never be successful as a storyteller, because some of the vignettes we have to share, I like the axiom that says, If you can't be a great example, sometimes you serve as a horrible warning. I've got a few of those in my repertoire.
And I think people like those stories better anyway. We love to see, oh, well, it could always be worse. At least it's not as bad as that guy.
Exactly. Are you getting ready for the contest in August?
Well, I would say yes, but the truth is I never really prepare until the night before. So, oh wait, I shouldn't tell you my trade secret. So, yes, of course I am.
Well, I go through about 10 drafts, and then what I don't do is I don't start memorizing it or putting it together or really editing it until like the week before. So
I should do that. I really should be more prepared. I am such a fly by the seat of my pants type guy. I always have more projects than I can hold, and I wait till the stress kicks in before I start thinking about it.
Well, we have some stress here. We are the only two Utahns in this. We have to keep this local.
Oh, for sure. Yes, it will be awesome. So no question of that.
Like I was saying in the interview piece, there are some storytellers who just take over the stage with personality, and you are definitely one of them. I always enjoy watching you work.
Oh, thank you, George. I'm very impressed by your work as well. So it's going to be fun to tell with you. I hereby grant you the title of Wizard of Dream Magic and honorary citizen of New Camelot. If you enjoy the Stephen Gashler Show, please tell your friends and subscribe at iTunes. To find out more, visit StephenGashler.com. That's StephenGashler.com. Sound effects by freesound.org and music by yours truly.